Hey guys, this is Rob Andrew here in the studio with my good friend Carlos, and we're doing our first video critique together. We got a few images via email, and we're going to start off with Dietrich Collins. Dietrich Collins Parker sent us a couple of portraits and animal shots, so we're going to go ahead and just jump right in to this one. Took us a while to get all the equipment set up here, so we're going to start with this graduation portrait. It looks like maybe from Balboa Park.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, I can't quite place it myself either.
At a glance, I thought it was San Diego State, and then
because of the red.
Yeah, and the model struck me as a little bit younger, and I wasn't sure if she was graduating college or graduating high school quite off the bat. So, initial thoughts.
Me or you?
Go ahead.
It seems a little too posy, a little too posy, a little too glamoury for a graduation photo. Just the pose is more like the pose is something out of a fashion or glamour type of shot. Not a classically, not a pose I would have expected in a graduation photo. It's a little sexy, I guess. Given that, and also, given not just the pose, but the dress and how fitted that is, and especially the high heels, just seems like like she's dressed for a night out.
It does seem a little bit that way. I was kind of struck by that when we first opened the files, but beyond that, she looks relaxed in front of the camera. She looks well lit. It's a pretty clean shot from a technical standpoint. I do notice it gets a little bit grainy and breaks up a little bit when we zoom in.
Back here?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a camera setting thing or if maybe things were tweaked a little bit in post, but and she has a random brush stroke on her neck, which is very good. If you go back in here, you can definitely see there's some grain and some kind of artifacting. It's not.
Could that have been an over sharpen, or
it might have been just something done in post, either sharpening or just overall boosting of the exposure that kind of caused that.
Yeah.
Or it could just be high ISO. I don't know. We can take a look at the file info and see maybe.
Oh, we could do that
if we do some detective work.
Camera data. There may not be anything in here. Yeah.
It looks like the data from the camera has been stripped, so I'm not really sure. But you can just see, if you go in 100%, you can kind of see some of that noise.
Yeah. Maybe it was a shadow highlight recovery or something that just went a little too far.
Sure.
But in any case, it looks to be pretty busy back here. There's a lot of stuff going on that's a little bit distracting. See all the artifact, but even without it, there's a bench and there's a stack of stuff and things kind of sneaking into the edge of the into the background and into the edge of the frame. And also, she's whatever this is, pillar or structure is sticking out of her head.
She's not placed in a terrible spot. I mean, at least everything's far enough away from her.
Yeah, in her foreground, everything's clean all around here. It's just back here.
Just a little bit
that's drawing attention away.
And it probably could have been defocused a little bit, maybe with a longer lens or a wider aperture. Or the camera position could have been moved up higher to kind of obscure some of the...
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then that way the tile and back here becomes her background. It would be up higher.
Right. Maybe,
and there would be less of this stuff in the frame.
Maybe by moving her down a step. That would have helped
a couple steps. Yeah. What else?
I mean, overall, good lighting, good open shade. She's... Like I said, everything's
natural expression.
Wardrobe looks clean. The things draped on her right and all that stuff. So that's good. That's all good stuff there. Let's take a look at the other one. She's got another portrait, same person here.
Yeah.
This one's a little more fun.
A little more fun.
Yeah. Still reads kind of flirty to me, and I guess it's just because the dress is so sexy. And
yeah.
Her head here though is merging with that.
Yeah.
lamp.
That's the first thing I saw when we opened up this picture. Is that
Yeah.
this is not a good spot to place her head.
So just by moving the camera over to the left, but then of course she'd be off center of the archway, which
Yeah.
maybe is why the photographer chose to put her more in the center of that. But I would definitely try to get the head in a cleaner spot here.
Yeah. I would too.
I mean, lighting is still great. It's still open shade. There's plenty of light on her. The background's not quite as distracting, but yeah, the major standout for me is the light fixture.
Yeah. You think if she had taken just a few steps back, right, then we lose the fixture, and she would still be framed by the arch.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She and I don't know if it's just the camera angle, but she seems to be darn tall.
Yeah.
So maybe she says athlete on her.
Because
slash
from the earlier photo, we know there are steps down here.
Right.
Right. So maybe the photographer is on one of those lower steps and looking up, and that's why we're seeing so much of this stuff.
Right. I think the photographer's down lower, and maybe if they were up eye level, that could have been avoided.
Yeah. And also like in the last shot, a longer lens could maybe pull this a little tighter. That is the edges of the arch.
Yeah,
I think.
experiment with that. Experiment with zooming in and zooming out next time you're doing a portrait session like this. Try taking the same shot, moving in physically, and zooming in with longer lens, and see the result. Yeah, just the head thing mainly.
Well, now what about the expression and this pose?
I guess it's kind of fun. It's kind of celebratory, I guess. For
Yeah.
a graduate, you're gonna have a few of those celebratory
Sure.
type poses.
As a graduation photo, I think I like this one better than this one.
Right. Yeah. I think
Because
so.
most of you definitely see this a lot in graduation photos.
There's always like one yay I
cheesing.
graduated. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think it's cool. It's lively. It looks kind of genuine. Yeah. Don't mind the pose at all. It doesn't look. It looks like she's in balance. Doesn't look like she's awkward about to fall over. So
Yeah. Shall we move on?
let's move on. She's got a wildlife. She's got an animal. In
All
there
right,
somewhere.
wildlife. On to the wildlife. And Rob and I got into a conversation here trying to decide what animal this is, I don't think we arrived at a.
He thinks it's
Consensus.
some sort of
I think it's a kangaroo.
marsupial thing that.
Yeah, and Rob kept calling it a goat. But I don't think it's a goat.
It looks kind of goat-like. Maybe it's just the way it's crouched over in the water, but I'm having a hard time figuring out what it is.
Yeah.
The reflection is not a terrible idea. To use reflections is always cool. It looks a little bit overexposed.
Right in here, you think?
We're just bright on the animal overall. I think you've lost some color in the fur, just because it's all pretty hot.
It's not clipped though.
It's not clipped.
It's just a
but
bright day on a.
It's just bright sun. It's hard. It's hard light. It's middle of the day. Not always the best time to shoot. But yeah, the fur looks a little bright to me, and maybe it's just because I don't know what type of animal it is. Maybe it's a bright kangaroo, and that's its natural color. I'm not completely
Right.
sure. Your reflections have other stuff in them that I'm confused by. I'm not sure what the reflection on the right side is.
This stuff down here.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that it's a different. There's a blue color
there's
in
a
here.
blue color, maybe someone's clothes,
Yeah.
and then what looks like a bear eating a salmon or something upside down. But I'm not sure. It's clearly not there reflecting in the water, but so it must be some branches or something in the background. But
I wonder if we have. I doubt it, but I wonder if we have any info for this one. Probably
let's
not.
see.
Oh no, we do.
Oh, we do have info. So
Tamron 18-400. Shot at 128.
128 millimeters, 400 to the second, ISO 200. These settings are all fine.
Yeah,
really.
they make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just need a more interesting composition, and it needs to be a little bit cleaner. So, I'm not sure if getting lower might have helped, or shooting just at a better time of day would
Yeah.
definitely help a lot.
Also, this is just really centered and kind of static composition. there's not much interest either to the left or to the right of the picture. And
Right.
given that you had such a long lens, I wonder if there might have been an opportunity for, something in here, something just a tighter shot.
Right. Yeah. You know what? She had a 400 millimeter lens. She used
Yeah.
128 millimeters.
So
of
she had
it.
a lot more zoom available.
So yeah, you could have gone in a lot closer on this one and just tightened up the whole shot and got rid of a lot of background elements that we don't need to
Yeah.
see.
Because you got a tree back here, you got a big diagonal line running through the part of the frame, you got this rock over here, this color over here, and all of it is in no way really contributing to the picture overall.
Right. I think
The
go
important
vertical.
part, vertically or vertically oriented and a tighter zoom, because right in here is where the action is, and the interesting part is the reflection. So yeah, that would be my suggestion, is if you were going to shoot this again.
Absolutely. And
If
what-
you were in this exact scene again, yeah.
So what you did right is you got the animal drinking. So that's kind of cool. It's a neat little behavior to capture, and then you got the reflection in there.
Yeah.
But now you just need to tighten up your framing and use your zoom and maybe turn the camera vertically.
Yeah. Take advantage of those 400 millimeters
Absolutely.
and isolate your subject and really make it the focus of the picture. There's a lot of extra stuff in here that you don't need.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move along
Yeah.
to Dale, who submitted a website link. All right.
Okay.
So Dale sent us a website link and a 500px link. So we're going to go outside of Photoshop and just go right onto the website here. He's got a wide variety of shots on here. There's concert, there's landscape, there's some action, sports, some other stuff, some kids.
He's got
on
the
beach.
one model shot.
One model shot
from the workshop.
From workshop we did actually. So thank you for taking my workshop, by the way. If you're watching this, you should be watching this. So we are going to pick out a few photos instead of flipping through everything. You have some nice, strong photos on here. And it looks like it's not really a business website. It's more just like I'm sharing my work, and maybe you can buy a print, but it's not like you're trying to get work necessarily from this site, is the impression I get. So it's okay to have this pretty wild variety. If you were an aspiring photographer trying to get professional work, I normally would advise against this kind of mixture, like having one picture of the kids running around and then having not anything else quite like that. But this is more of a personal site, it appears. So,
Or if I suppose he could have a drop down here when you tap portfolio.
yeah, and have those categories.
One for landscapes, one for concert stuff, one for personal work,
Sure.
etc.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other topic we can get
Yeah,
into.
because my own website is a jumble. There's a lot of different kinds of work in there,
Right.
and it's only just now, I think, growing to a point where maybe it's time to start to divide it up.
Sure, when you have enough in each category,
but yeah.
it's strong enough. Okay,
right.
but anyway, let's pick out some photos. We kind of talked about this earlier. We had a few that we picked out that we thought were not necessarily the strongest ones, but the ones that we wanted to talk about at least. So this is shot in La Jolla.
Long exposure.
Long exposure. The thing that struck me about the shutter speed, I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a nice shutter speed. I think I don't know if you deliberately did this or not, but the shutter speed that you chose here is nice because the water's milky and it's got that nice long shutter speed thing, and you can tell it was done on a tripod. Look, it takes it up to a professional kind of technique, but it also still shows motion in the water. It's not completely fogged out like when you do a minute-long exposure. I kind of like that.
I'm gonna go the other way and say do the longer exposure, and make it totally. I mean, if you're already going this far, a couple more clicks on the wheel,
a couple more clicks on the wheel, and then you'd have, if you went a few more seconds, for example,
Yeah.
you would have that
All of
really
this water would be really
white,
smoky or like a
Yeah.
mist, like a fine
almost like a
mist.
fog.
Yeah,
But I
I
kind of
like that
this.
look.
I kind of like this look too, because it's not, we see the fog a lot, and this we don't see
Yeah.
quite as much, kind of in between shutter speed. If you do go longer, one cool thing that starts to happen is you start to see motion on the clouds too, and they get
Yeah.
kind of brush stroked out, which is cool. So it's something to play around with.
Yeah. Now I think this is one of those where I'm not quite sure what the subject is.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a little bit, the camera's up a little bit high for me. I think if you went for a little more foreground, it might be a stronger composition.
Yeah, 'cause there's probably a little more activity down here in the lower 2/3 of the image than in the upper.
Maybe the camera,
Right?
maybe the camera actually needed to go up higher and kind of down, angled
up
down
and
toward the land.
angled down.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
because right now it seems like we're not quite certain what the more interesting part of the picture is. Is it the sky or is it this foreground? I think it's the foreground. I mean, that's why he did the long exposure.
Right.
But there is a leading line, and it does kind of lead me. I go this way through the broader channel here, out to the water, out to the sky, and then back. But there's not many points of interest for me to stop along the way.
Right.
And so I've heard people say, like, I'll always be firm on this. If there are rules in photography, I think one of them is every photo must have a subject. And I have heard some landscape photographers say, well, sometimes the scene is the subject. I don't know that I always necessarily agree with that.
Right.
This might be one of those, because there isn't anywhere for me to stop and think about this. It's all composition and all leading line. It's all set up, no punchline. Like, there's no if I showed this to somebody and I said, well, what's this a picture of? I feel
Right.
like different people will give me different
Different answers.
answers.
It's not a very clear subject. And I think, I don't know, just from a compositional kind of point of view, the foreground is definitely the most important thing, and it's the sharpest in focus, that middle rock. It looks like your horizon might be leaning a little or just curved from like a sort of lens,
Yeah,
barrel
could be
distortion.
pitching right a little.
or it might even be pitching right a little bit. Just like, seems like that right side horizon line is not quite straight. Other than that, it's pretty strong exposure. Looks like a nice balance.
Oh, I was gonna suggest maybe darkening that and really bumping the contrast, which would increase the saturation also, because right now it actually feels maybe a stop overexposed to me.
I would agree. At some places, it looks a little hot. On the farthest rock, the water gets pretty hot
Right
on
here?
top. Yeah, so it could be darkened down maybe a little bit. I think the sky looks about right.
Yeah. The reason I say bring the exposure down and bump the contrast because it would increase this orange color in
the
the
pretty
sky.
details in the sky.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed is on the left side. I don't know if he did any sky manipulation already, or some multiple exposures or something, or a filter. But on the left side, it looks like maybe the landscape itself, the land part, got a little bit dark, and the shadows kind of got a little too heavy in there.
In here?
Yeah,
You think it's too dark over here?
I do. It looks like it's just a black kind of mass over there.
It makes sense to me. I think it's silhouetted.
You know,
It's
maybe-
right up against the sky.
Maybe just that it's backlit and we're not seeing. But I don't know. The top edge of the water seems just a little bit dark on the horizon as well. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell if that's any kind of manipulation or filtering going on there. But it's overall a pretty strong shot.
Yeah.
Um,
The challenge is, in a scene like this, the challenge is giving or arranging your photograph so that it is clear what it is that you want us to see and what the subject is.
Right.
And right now it's a little unclear.
Right. Yeah. I think that's
you got to find, if you go back out there, you got to find a way to position yourself, your camera, and your frame so that it's clear to us, so that we know what to look at and where you want us to look.
All right.
Are you moving on?
I think we should move on.
All right. Let's go to concert shot.
Concert shot. So I saw another shot, a couple of shots on here that were not quite as expressive. This one.
This one here?
Yeah, there's one here where he's clearly. Actually, his eyes are closed.
Yeah.
It is kind of expressive, but I don't read the musician's expression quite as much in this one. So we kind of picked that other vertical
His
shot.
mouth is covered. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, we could really see his facial expression. He really had the emotion, and I think that's really important with concert shots. I also really like the way you framed up his head. It's got those three kind of lights, stage lights leading to his head
Right there.
on the left,
And then this beam here.
and this beam, and then he's also like his head's kind of in a nice clean spot, even though it's busy up there. So I like what you did with
There's
the
this
framing.
clean space around him.
Yeah, it's just really nice placement.
Exposure is good, yeah, and the somehow he's not the same color as these lights.
Yeah, the color balance is really nice. And stage lighting, I mean, you almost have to get lucky because it changes every second, or sometimes every few seconds. So it looks like you got the timing right with like a spotlight hitting him in the front and in the stage light not making him too red, which is kind of hard to do actually. So good timing on that.
Yeah.
one. Good capture.
For my money, I'm not really crazy about these polka dots.
I don't like him either, but hey, that's just what he was
Yeah.
wearing.
And what about the little piece of the guitar here that's cropped out? Is that a problem for you?
You know, as a guitar player myself, I wouldn't want the volume knobs cropped off. It sounds weird to get a volume and a tone. I know there's 4 of them, so you could go a little bit higher, but I feel like if you lost the arch of the or the cutaway or whatever, you would, I guess it's the transition to the upper bout, not the cutaway, you would start to lose too much of the guitar. So I would maybe want to see a little more of it as opposed to a little less.
Yeah.
If that makes
But do you
sense.
think I won't? Because given that the neck of the guitar extends past the frame, I wonder if there's a horizontal of this available and how that might look.
Yeah, horizontal shot might be nice,
Yeah.
depending on what other junk is in the background
Yeah.
on the right side.
And yeah, for all we know, there's a reason why he shot it vertically.
Sure,
Because
and
there's something super distracting just off frame, either
Just
left
a
or right.
Streaker jumping around on stage, and yeah, who knows. But no, this is a nice capture. I like it a lot. There's a little bit of a thing in the left bottom corner that is maybe another musician or something sticking in. That
Yeah,
could be
that's easy
cropped.
enough to
I would probably,
just take it out.
yeah, I would just take it out. I would just clone it out in Photoshop rather than try to crop the
Yeah.
image because it's a good, nice crop already. I don't want you to mess with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nice documentary music shot right there. I think it's good. It's got emotion. It's got
Yeah.
good exposure.
Good-
It's
good
technically
expression.
solid. Good expression.
Yeah. He's
well,
got all the guitar picks
yeah,
that he could ever
all
want.
the guitar picks. Looks like he hasn't needed to pull one off of there, so it must
Yeah.
be early in the night.
All right. Continuing.
All right, moving right along. We got let's
You
go to the
surfer?
surfer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Action
we got
shot.
an action shot. Just to mix it up, we're giving you a landscape, a concert shot, and an action
Hmm.
shot. This one for me, it has like a hazy,
Yeah.
under, just a not sharp quality to
Right.
it.
It's probably a crop of a larger image, and it seems like
It's got that long lens haze, like you shot through a lot of atmosphere to reach your target. Or
Yeah.
something.
long lens haze in addition to being a crop of a like a substantial crop of a image that was shot really far away.
Yeah, we don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
probably accurate. The action itself is good.
Yeah,
The surfer
this is
looks
really cool.
Looks focused.
The way he's placed
Yeah, he's
here.
got one hand down on the board. It's really
his line.
cool.
Yeah, and even at this distance, you can read him, his body language and his expression.
And he's kicking up some water. I mean, he's like, I don't
Yeah.
know if he's making a turn right. I don't surf, so I don't know what the hell he's doing. But maybe he's making a turn or something, and
Yeah.
the water.
Well, he looks
churning
cool.
behind him. Yeah, he definitely looks cool.
Yeah, he does.
For all I know, he could be doing it all wrong. But he seems
Yeah.
to be good. I mean, it's a pretty
Yeah.
big wave, so it must be pretty decent.
I do wish there was, he wasn't perfectly centered in the frame. I mean, if this is a crop, I would suggest shifting it over to the left, putting your surfer a little higher and a little more to the right, and that way he has a line that he can a path that he can take diagonally through the frame.
I would say more room on the left, and
Yeah, exactly. More room on the left
because we don't
by
really
moving him
need-
to the right.
Yeah, the material on the right, we don't really need any more of that.
Yeah,
So we could
we
actually
got plenty.
lose a bit.
Yeah,
and
because all
extend.
like I don't know, a fifth of this
Yeah, it's
is
not
like
really
is kind of
necessary.
unused. Yeah.
Yeah, and then on
He
the
needs-
left, we got the sloping lines going up into the wave are really what gives you the scale of the size of the wave,
Mm-hmm.
I think. So if we gave more room on the left, we'd kind of see more of that and get a sense of how big that is.
Yeah.
But I think you needed to be on a boat or have a longer lens because it does appear to be like a crop.
I also want to darken it.
I wanna
The whole image,
darken overall and maybe add a bit of contrast.
Yeah.
Which if you,
which would pump this color.
yeah, if you don't have to add saturation, but if you just add some contrast, you'll naturally get more saturation.
Yep.
That's just a result of adding contrast.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, other than that, again, just good timing and good capture overall. Just some technical things that could be stepped up a little bit.
Okay.
All right,
Are we done?
I think
Is that all?
that was 3. Yeah, I think we're good for now. We might revisit Dale next time. We're gonna ask for maybe full-size images
Yeah.
in a Dropbox, and then we can open them up in
Photoshop.
Photoshop, kind of demo them for you.
Yeah.
Tonight was our night to kind of figure out the microphone setup,
Yeah. Work out the bugs.
work out the
hack
bugs, and do a quick one. So
Yep.
we're not ignoring the rest of your pictures. We're just gonna make this one short because it's like 11:40 at night right now.
It took us that long to get this figured out.
All right, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.